Hello and welcome back to yet another XeroLinux video. And in this one, I'll be showing you everything you need to know about our tool, which should never ever be uninstalled from XeroLinux because it's a core part of the distro. If you removed it, please reinstall it. Don't get rid of it. If you want to get rid of it from the dock, be my guest, but don't uninstall it. You will always find it under utilities, I think under system, XeroLinux hello, but it's not really a hello welcome tool. Not unlike, unlike Manjaro and the other distros, where it's just a welcome tool introducing you to various aspects of the distro. This is not such a tool. We call it Zero Hello because it welcomes you and allows you to tweak the system in various ways. With that being said, this is the main page. This is what you get greeted with after installing the system, and don't remove it from startup just to just so you are always reminded of it. If you want to disable it, you can just do that. Just toggle this switch off, and it will never start up again. But yeah, I leave it on because I use it a lot. It's my creation. Well, it was created by a contributing developer who stopped maintaining it, so I'm maintaining it now. From have been for a while. So since I'm not a developer, I don't know how to change anything in it. Just modify buttons and what they do. So this tool, the main page will always look the same, but anything underneath the other buttons might change from time to time. But this is what the tool is, and I will go over everything it does. First things first. Whenever you install XeroLinux, the first thing you should do, the very first thing you should do is update the system. Why? Because everything on the ISO is frozen in time. So if I upload an ISO today and you download it a month after I have uploaded it, there will be a lot of updates. So the tool will not, because it changed, as I said, the tool will always change. You might not have the latest version on the ISO. To get the latest version and the latest packages in, the first thing you should do, and it's mentioned in Calamares during the install, the first thing you should do is update the system before you do anything whatsoever. So you just click update now, which will launch my own customized script for updating the system. Why did I go this route? Well, it's to make it easier for you guys to update various aspects. Because you have on Arch, you have the Arch native packages, you got the AUR packages, and you got Flatpaks. And yes, I do not ship with app images or snaps. XeroLinux will never support snaps. We are not Ubuntu. We leave that up to Ubuntu and Debian. But as far as app images, we leave that up to you. We didn't remove the ability to install app images should you choose to. I don't know why you want to go that route, but it's your choice. It's up to you. We don't disable that option, but there is no package manager for app images. Thus, we cannot include it in the script. So once you click update, you will be presented with this dialog. It will say, hello, your username. I customized it very nicely. Please select packages to update. If you click 1, it will go ahead and update the Arch native packages and anything from my repositories, because anything I put on my repositories are converted from AUR to native packages. So you type your password and you hit enter, and it's going to go ahead and update. We have quite a few updates since this is a VM that I don't update very often. So yeah, here I'm gonna hit no because I don't want to update. It's just a VM that I'm gonna delete. So once you hit no, it's gonna reload the script, and then you can go ahead and select 2 if you have AUR packages, and it will go ahead and update the AUR packages. We'll let that do its thing. And since I have no AUR packages, it's going to try and update the system, because when you run yay, it not only updates AUR packages, but native packages as well. So I'm going to answer no again. And it's going to reload the script. and then if you have any flatpaks, you hit 3, and so on and so forth. But keep in mind, this is the first thing you should do after installing the system. I cannot stress that enough. All right, next one. Update Arch Mirrorlist. Update Arch Mirrorlist is in case your Mirrorlist is outdated for whatever reason, and you get key, not key issues. I mean Mirrorlists 404 Mirrorlist not up to date. You click that button, and it's gonna go ahead and do it. I'm not gonna let it do its thing because I'm already up to date. Install drivers. This is very important. This is, I will stress it and stress it and stress it and stress it a million times. Once you install the system and you go into the driver section, please, I beg of you, read this paragraph. It's really important. It will explain and go over anything you should know. This is where you will be able to select the drivers to install. Make sure you select the appropriate ones. For NVIDIA, only latest and 470XX legacy ones will be provided. Yes, XeroLinux uses the TKG branch of NVIDIA drivers because they optimize them better than the official ones. But you will be able to install the vanilla ones should you choose to. I will show you in a bit. But for legacy, what I mean is anything that requires the 470XX drivers. So some 600 series, 700 series graphic cards, minus the 750 Ti, for example. 750 Ti uses the latest drivers, so you should use the latest ones, not legacy, and so on and so forth. And for I want to highlight something very important. When it comes to hybrid graphics on laptops, be it AMD plus NVIDIA or Intel plus NVIDIA or Intel plus AMD, it's all up to you to figure out how to get them to work. I don't own no laptops, will never own laptops. I hate hybrid graphics. I don't see the use of them. Although some people do mention that having an integrated graphics plus a dedicated one, so in case the dedicated one goes kaput, you still have the integrated one. No. For me, I have multiple GPUs. I can remove one from one of my other desktops, put it instead. It's a choice. It's a choice. And my choice is single GPU. That's where if you want no issues whatsoever, grab a laptop with a single GPU, no integrated graphics. But if you still prefer hybrid graphics, I'm not stopping you. I'm just telling you that I will not provide support because I don't have such a configuration. It's up to you. I would just point the way, and then it's up to you to figure things out. It's Arch at the end. And what we internally call Arch is it's a base where you fuck around and figure things out on your own. We try to help wherever and whenever we can. That's why we have the community on Discord. So if I can't help personally, maybe someone else who has hybrid graphics, who got things working, can help. But from my end, I will not be providing support for hybrid graphics. Anyway, with that being said, for older one, Google, and for older ones, anything older than like 500 series, 400 series, I don't know why you would have those, and Quadro or something like that, just Google NVIDIA-all TKG. Just Google for that, and you will get redirected to their GitHub, where you'll be able to download a script, which will allow you to build anything older than 470XX. You should know which one you need. I'm not the one to tell you. So it's Arch. Fuck around and figure things out. If you own an Asus ROG Optimus laptop, click the buttons below for assistance by the Asus ROG Linux Alliance. Not me. Yes. If you own an Asus laptop, 2-in-1, ROG, whatever Asus laptop you have, and you need some tools that will make XeroLinux work on those devices, I provided links at the bottom here. Asus ROG Optimus laptop tools, Asus ROG Optimus Discord. Those button labels might change, but what they do will not. So first things first. If you encounter any issues, like for example black screen on startup, try switching to LightDM, GDM, either via button below or in TTY, Ctrl Alt F3, or if you are on a black screen already, via the 2LightDM or 2GDM commands, or switch to the LTS kernel. Yeah, sometimes just switching to the LTS kernel is enough. So it's up to you to figure which one will work for you, but I cannot provide too much support because all I got is a 1080 in the current system, and I got a 650 Ti boost in another system, and a 710, an old $10 7 Ti 710 in the other system. So that's all I got. So I use either the 470XX or the latest driver. So for the NVIDIA proprietary drivers, you just click this button and you will be presented with yet another script. Yeah, I'm a best scripter, so that's what I enjoy. So hello username, please select an option below. Check which NVIDIA GPU you have. You select option 1, and it's going to do LSPCI or whatever it's called, and it's going to tell you what controller you have. And then according to this information, you select the appropriate driver. Now it's going to reload the script as usual. I make a pause here so you can read. And of course, it's going to open the NVIDIA driver download page so you can check which NVIDIA driver you want. So for example, you have an NVIDIA 40 series. Not a 4090, but most of you have a 4060 or let's say, yeah, 4060 laptop, game ready driver. You select Linux, 64-bit, make sure you select and search. It's going to tell you it's 535.86.05. So according to this, you don't download anything from here. Careful. Don't download anything from here, because if you download from here, you have to manually install it, and it's not a very easy process. So, and it might not always work. So you know which version you need. You close that, and then it's going to reload the script. Wait for it. It's going to reload the script. If it doesn't reload the script, just close it and open it again. And according to that information, you either install the latest TKG drivers 900 series and up, or you select legacy drivers for some 600 and 700 series, as I mentioned. Or if you want, you don't trust TKG for whatever reason, you can go with latest vanilla drivers 900 series and up, or latest Open DKMS drivers, experimental and Turing plus GPUs, so 20 series and up. And notice there are no legacy vanilla drivers provided, simply because NVIDIA does not NVIDIA, but on the Arch repositories there is no such thing as vanilla legacy drivers. I can build the vanilla 470XX drivers, but I'm not going to. It adds more work and overhead for XeroLinux, so take it with a grain of salt. So for vanilla drivers, only latest or Turing Plus will be supported in case you go with the Open DKMS. And asterisk for Open DKMS, it's still in beta. It's not 100% final. So install at your own risk. And in case you installed one version of the drivers and you have issues, you have the option number 6, clean up TKG or vanilla driver. It will nuke any NVIDIA drivers you have installed, and it will allow you to start fresh, select another version, and so on and so forth. This is the this is the NVIDIA proprietary driver section. If you are on an old legacy ATI or AMD card, you just click this button, you select either AMD or ATI. Careful, ATI is legacy. So it will install ATI legacy drivers. If you are on anything post-legacy or anything newer than legacy, you just select AMD GPU and it will install the AMD GPU drivers. You don't need to worry about anything. It's open source, kernel-based, so nothing to worry about. And again, check which GPU you have to know if you have an ATI or AMD. You select option number 1. Switch display manager, again with a script, switch to LightDM, KDE, SDDM. And this is only for KDE. Do not switch to SDDM on any other desktop environment unless you want issues. And it will install SDDM-git. Not SDDM, the stable branch, but the Git branch, because it's the branch that's being worked on, actively worked on. In case you want to use Wayland or whatever, and I will be going over Wayland in a bit. Or switch to GNOME for GNOME only. In case you went to LightDM on GNOME and you want to go back to GDM, you use this option. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to mess up the system. And hardware service, hardware service, it will just allow you, it will run INXI. If you select option 1, it will show you what config you have. This is what I will be asking you for in case you have issues. I want you to grab a screenshot of this, of the entire message, and send it to me on Discord so I can help troubleshoot any issues. So once, and if you want to go back, it's not going to reload it. Probe and upload. Sometimes I will ask you for a probe link. Just hit number 2. Type your password. It's going to probe your hardware. And it's going to generate a link that I will ask you to share with me to help troubleshoot. See? Control click to open. So you control click, you open, and this is a probe of a VM, of course, but ignore that. It won't show for real hardware, and I will get to know all your hardware config. That's it for those. FAQ, it will take you to the FAQ. Should you have any issues, we have some guides on our forums. The Arch Wiki, of course, you have to study the Arch Wiki since XeroLinux is Arch, basically 90% Arch and 10% XeroLinux. So everything on the Arch Wiki works on XeroLinux. Forums is a link to our forums, but this is the button where all the magic happens. Post-install system config. All right, so for you guys who selected BTRFS from the dropdown in Calamares during the install, you will be able to set up Snapper on your BTRFS system. You just click that. It will scan if you have a BTRFS system. And well, since I don't have BTRFS here, I use XFS everywhere. It will say not found, exiting, press any key to exit. But basically, it will install BTRFS Assistant and anything you might need to get Snapper running on your BTRFS system. Switch to ZSH. Well, this is self-explanatory. It will allow you to switch from Bash to ZSH, including OMI ZSH and power level 10K, everything, and it will pour everything from source. So as soon as you click this button and install, switch to ZSH, you'll have the latest, and it's self-updatable. So every time you launch terminal console, ZSH will check for updates, and in case there are any, it will ask you, and if you say yes, it will go ahead and update it. Okay, restore default desktop settings. Okay, this is a very niche thing that not a lot of you are going to use, but just in case something happens to your setup layout, or you start moving widgets around, maybe moving the dock, or the dock dies, or the panel dies, because the panel up top and the dock are both latte dock. So in case anything happens to your system, layout-wise, be it on KDE, GNOME spin, or XFCE spin, there's an option to revert back to XeroLinux out-of-the-box settings. You just click 1 for KDE, but currently it's disabled. Option currently unavailable. Please check back soon. This is disabled until the August 12th edition is released. But you get the idea. It will revert back to out-of-the-box settings. It will, on a side note, it will undo anything you have done and revert as if you just installed the system fresh, settings-wise. Not application-wise. All your applications are going to still be there. Just your settings might disappear. But don't worry, it'll back them up in a folder called .config and the current date. If you want to restore them, you restore them from there. All right. Enable Wayland experimental. Why do I label it experimental? Because Wayland, in its current state, and you can fight me until the end of time, I consider it as experimental, at least on KDE. I'm not talking about GNOME. I'm talking about KDE. XFCE doesn't support Wayland yet, but I'm talking about KDE specifically. It's experimental, especially if you own an NVIDIA card like I do. So you click that. So which edition are you using? The only choices are KDE and GNOME because XFCE does not support Wayland yet. So if you select KDE Plasma and you have NVIDIA card, it will do all the necessary stuff and it's going to warn you 3 times before you go ahead. And you still answer yes, you're on your own. Again, I'm not going to say anything beyond that. You're on your own. Many people were successful. I'm not going to bash it. On the other hand, I have yet to be successful. I've tried everything. So I just included it just in case you want to fuck around and figure things out. There you go. For GNOME, it's fine. You enable Wayland is just modifying a single line in custom.conf in the GDM folder. It's just removing the hashtag, activating the line Wayland enable equals true, and that's it. And Wayland, I didn't have any issues with Wayland on GNOME, so I can confirm that you can go ahead and if you own an AMD card. On NVIDIA, on the other hand, it's a nightmare. On NVIDIA, it's another nightmare and a half. It has to go through a lot of things. So again, I say this: if you're on GNOME plus NVIDIA, do this at your own risk. Me providing support for Wayland as a whole, be it on GNOME or KDE, you're on your own. But the options are there. I'm not stopping you from using Wayland. I will never stop you from using Wayland. It's not my job to tell you what to do or not to do. I'm just warning you that you will be on your own figuring things out when it comes to NVIDIA plus Wayland. Zero ISO Builder. This is a bonus. Since the spins are only available, the spin ISOs are only available for a small fee, $10 and up, everywhere, because I'm charging for my time, the time it takes me to build the ISOs for you, not the code. The code is available on GitHub. You'll always be able to build them for free. I will not charge you for building them. But if you want the ISOs, the pre-built ISOs, you will have to support the project financially. But that doesn't mean that if you are already on XeroLinux or Arch-based distro, you can't build them yourself. Like, look at here. I provide you a script. You just select one for KDE, which will build the KDE version for you, the latest version of KDE. 2 for the latest version of GNOME, and 3 the latest version of the XFCE spin. If you are on XeroLinux, you'll be welcomed with a script that will do everything for you. If you're on any other Arch-based distro, you'll have to run the commands manually from my GitHub. So, and the guide is on GitHub. It's just 2 commands, literally 2 commands in terminal, and you'll have yourselves a new, an up-to-date ISO. So, but on XeroLinux itself, the script will do it all for you. You just click a button, select which edition, and you're off to the races. XeroLinux Rices. This script, since we have different Rices for XeroLinux KDE edition, the following Rices are for KDE only, because GNOME we don't rice. I don't believe in ricing GNOME, and XFCE, it's not my thing. I will never use XFCE. So if you want to rice it, you can rice it on your own. But since the KDE flagship is the flagship, it's going to receive all the love. All the most features will be targeted towards the flagship. And if you want to see what the rices look like, you just head on over to our official website, scroll all the way down, and you will see what they look like over here. This is the Leyen. This is the Nord. This is Sweet. This is Dunes. And this is Cappuccino. All right. So you select cappuccino. It's going to apply the cappuccino rice. You select dunes, the dunes rice, and so on and so forth. This will do everything, and follow the prompts. In case there are any prompts, keep an eye on it. Don't just hit number 1 and go have a coffee. No, because it's going to prompt you at some point. You have to enter your password. You have to select an option when prompted to. Keep an eye on it. And as I mentioned on the Rice GitHubs, in case you apply a Rice and it doesn't work the first time, apply it again. It's just KDE being KDE. And KDE can be a pain sometimes, but I still live with it and I love it. And another thing, it's going to back up your .config folder, so it's going to overwrite all your settings or most of your settings. And in case you want to restore them, you can restore them from .config-date. Just copy the files you need from .config in your home directory, .config-date. It's never going to overwrite without backing up first. Install firewall. Of course, it's gonna prompt you which edition you're on. For KDE Plasma, it's Plasma Firewall, because XeroLinux will not include a firewall out the box, leaving you the choice. If you don't want to install Plasma Firewall, you can select whatever you want. XeroLinux GNOME will install GUFW and XFCE FireJail. If you want to switch, you can manually install FireJail, for example, on KDE or GFW on XFCE, and so on and so forth. You can do that manually via the command line, but this is what the script does, and I made it easy for you to install a firewall. Enable HBlock. Well, HBlock is, type the password, it will install a system-wide ad blocker using the latest definitions available online. It's going to pull them from source. And so far, it will block like 490,000 ad domains. Or 500 plus. Let's see. We'll know at the end of it. Come on. Whoa, the list is big. All right, so it has blocked 528,251 ad domains. Big list, if I do say so myself. Hit enter and done. More XeroLinux tweaks. That's another important script. It will change. The numbers will change because more options will be added, some options removed, and so on and so forth. Like I talked in my previous video, there's the apply KD font OP and set font fix and downgrade grub and get the XHPP repo. If you want to watch it, I'll link to that video either in the description or at the end of the video. But for example, you have an option under the system tweaks. If you use Flatpaks and you want them to use the system theme, you have to manually activate the Flatpak theming. It cannot be activated out of the box because it requires sudo privileges. So you'll have to do this manually via this tool. And if you want to update, if I announce on the Discord server or on the website or the forums or on social that you need to update your pacman.conf, you select option number 2, which will grab you the latest pacman.conf with the latest repositories or the latest arrangement of repositories. And if you have additional repositories that you added yourself after installing XeroLinux, like the chaotic AUR or ArcoLinux or whatever, you should. This will create a backup first, so you can restore those repositories from the backup from etc pacman.conf.bak to the active pacman.conf. Under troubleshooting, this is where I will keep adding things to make it easy for you to fix any potential issues with Arch, not XeroLinux, Arch as a whole. Apply the Samba share fix in case you cannot share files between Linux and Windows. This will apply a fix. I've done a lot of research. I created my own Samba config that works for me. It might work for you. So this might work for you as well. So try it. This already talked about in a previous video. Restart Pipewire Pulse. Yeah, sometimes, because a lot of people have been mentioning issues with, because XeroLinux uses Pipewire, not Pulse Audio. So in case you have issues with Pipewires, sometimes restarting it is all it takes to get it working again. So this option will do that for you. So it will run systemctl, restart, Pipewire, and whatever. As for option number 6, downgrade grub and get the new. I already mentioned it in the previous video, so go over that video and see what it does. All right, that's it for this page. Install applications, the final page, the final page. I know this video is getting long in the tooth, but on this final page, you will be able to select what packages you, native packages or Flatpaks you want to install. On the main page, when you click the button, you'll be presented with Arch native packages, either from my repositories that I built from the AUR or from Arch repositories. So you have Arch kernels and stuff like that. They're all categorized. And if you want to filter by category, you just select, okay, ChatGPT, OpenAI. It will only show that section. If you want Office tools, it will only show this thing. Sometimes, yeah, it stretches the tool. Can't figure out a fix for that. Social, and so on and so forth. If you want to install Flatpaks, you click the button, you go back to null, to the star, and then it will allow you to install various Flatpaks, organized, and those are hand-picked packages, curated packages. I keep on adding to this list and removing and replacing. This list will change. Don't take this list to be what it is. It will continuously change. When you click use Flatpak again, you go back to native packages. Click it again to go back to Flatpaks, and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Make sure to install stuff from here, but that's it. Last thing I want to mention, close the tool because there's nothing else to talk about. I don't want you to update the system using Pamac. This is the shield icon in the tray is Pamac. Do not update using this tool, because most of the time you're gonna get issues and key issues, specifically key issues, database out of sync or whatever. Don't update using that. Update using the tool as I showed you at the beginning of the video. Don't update with it. Just use this tool to browse and see dependencies, see what files it will install and where, but don't use it to install or update. I forgot to mention one thing in the tool on the first page, fix GnuPG Keys. I just realized that. In case you get corrupt PGP signature message during an update, this is because your Arch keyring is out of date. So you have to click this. Once you click this, you type your password, it's gonna delete the database, the key database. It's gonna refresh it with new keys, and then install the latest Arch Linux keyring package from the Arch repositories and get you all the new keys in. If you suffer from GPG signature 404 or invalid, this will get you the latest one. And that issue should stop happening. And that's it. Sorry the video was very long, but I needed to go over the tool because a lot of you out there keep ignoring that tool, thinking it's yet another generic welcome tool that is no longer required, delete it, and forget about it. I will keep asking you to do things that are only available via this tool. So if you uninstalled it, please install it again. And make sure you get the latest version. With that being said, this was Dark Zero showing off the XeroLinux tool. And don't forget to like the video because it will help the algorithm. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Click the ring-a-ling, the ding-a-ling bell just to get notified whenever I make new videos. And support us financially when and if you can by either joining the channel, becoming a member, or by sending us a super chat. And I'm going to bid you Farewell. Long video, but I needed to be done.